on. Check your end. Is it good? Is it okay at your end?
Yeah, it's okay.
And the volume, right?
Yeah, volume is right.
All right, good. Talk later.
Okay.
Fellow Bezonians, thanks for tuning in today. Uh, I hope that, as usual, as you join, you can share the link with friends, share the links with uh, your groups on WhatsApp, and let's get to the broadcast as soon as we can. I am sorry. I couldn't get put things together on time enough. I couldn't put things together to be here on time enough for the broadcast, but I want to appreciate your patience to wait in expectation for this broadcast. And so please, as you join, share the link, share the link. Let's wait a few minutes for others to join, and then I will get into the broadcast proper. Right now we have almost 250 people. Let's try to hit the regular mark so that we can have this information go as wide as possible. And as usual, as you join in, please let me know the location you are joining in from. All right. So please share the link as you join. Share the link as you join so I can get into the broadcast again. My apologies for coming to you very late today. I had to tidy the house to put things in order. And so please share the link to your friends on your Facebook, on your groups, WhatsApp, everywhere that you can share. Please share the link. Share the link. Again, my apologies for being quite late today, but I can assure you, I bring you information that will inspire you and give you one more reason why we have to fight, this revolution to the very ultimate end. So I know some people have come online to check whether I was there. Some of them may have left. If you know anyone who should be watching now, please call them or send a link to them, text them, let them know that I am online. Again, I want to know where you are tuning in from, where you are joining from. I see Shuena joining in. Didn't mention the place. I see Stella B from Germany. And I also see Mbaku Adamo is coming in, joining from Germany. I see Inkai Kum from Barcelona. I think Barcelona is in Spain. I see, thank you, Nkongyu Safa, for your love. God bless you. I see Kumatan Derek from the United Arab Emirates. Keep on, show me the location. I particularly want to see those who are joining from ground zero. So please, let me know the location. We have a little over 400 people now in 5 minutes. I'm pleading with you. I do not mean to keep you waiting, but we don't come here to just pass information to people when you have such a great number of people that watch the broadcast. We don't want to start it when most of them are coming in. So I am appealing to you to share the link so that they can all get it. And again, let me know where you're joining in from. I see Gordy is joining in from Singapore. And let me see what's going on with this screen. And I also see Fong Konyi joining in from Spain. I see Edmond Abokos joining in from Germany. Please keep on sharing the link. I see also Ngondanola is joining from Finland. I see now, so gracious. You are such a fabulous fan. I see you all the time, and I see your excitement. Thank you very much. Please, let's grow the numbers. We haven't hit 500 yet. Still almost there. But let's hit the numbers as you join, please. Once more, my apologies for being so late today. But I just have to wait till we hit the numbers so we have the greatest number or the highest number of people watching. I see who is Enes Ali from Akko. I don't know where Akko is found, but I believe it's somewhere in the northern zone. Let me know where you're joining in from, please. Let me know where you're joining in from. I get excited seeing people, especially from ground zero, people who are in the war front, in the front lines, taking the bullets. Please, let's get the numbers grow. Not 500 yet. It's, I think, about 500 now in 7 minutes. Please, if you are joining, share the link and let's get started. And let me know where you're joining in from, please. We are a little over 500 people, and we need a few more before I begin this broadcast proper. Please share the link as you join. In the next 1 minute 50 seconds, I will start the broadcast, and so please share the link as you join. Share the link as you join. Thank you so very much. And thank you for the love signs, all of you there. And thank you for the OK signs, all of you too. Share the link, almost 600 people right now. Almost 600 people right now, and I will be starting probably when we hit 700. I will cut the time short as a form of compensation for my lateness today. So please, as you join, just share the link. Let's hit that magic number, and so I can go on with the presentation. Almost 600 people right now. Go ahead and share the link, please. Go ahead, share the link, share the link, share the link, share the link. And while others are joining us, I just want to make these announcements. All of North America was supposed to be having a huge rally coming up in New York on March the 16th. I made that announcement here last time. That rally for March the 16th has been cancelled, or not totally cancelled, but moved to March the 30th at the United Nations headquarters in New York. Again, the rally for all Amazonians in North America, including Canada, that was scheduled for March 16, has been cancelled or moved to March the 30th. And that rally is still taking place at the United Nations headquarters in New York. Also, in a few days to come, today is the 9th, that is in about 2 days, all Amazonians in London and across Europe will be gathering in London for a massive protest to protest the abductions of our leaders at the Westminster Abbey in London. Again, that rally, that protest is coming up only in 2 days. If you live in London, anywhere in Europe, and you can drive or fly to London for that rally, please, I encourage you, join our Amazonians in London. Let's make that rally a great success. Let's make the rally in London a tremendous success. That rally is coming up again March 12th, holding at Westminster Abbey in London. If you are in Europe, in France, in Germany, in Belgium, in Italy, in Spain, and you can drive to London, please program yourself to drive to London for that rally in London. Again, the date is March 12th. And of course, as I just said, the one that was supposed to hold in New York has been postponed from March the 16th to March 30th at the United Nations headquarters in New York. Let me adjust my camera, please. All right. And so the rally that was supposed to hold in London at the United Nations headquarters in New York, the rally that was supposed to hold in New York at the United Nations headquarters has been postponed from March the 16th to March 30th. If you live anywhere in North America, including Canada, this is going to be one of the biggest rallies after the one we held September 22nd last year. So please, let's plan it, let's program it, invite friends, invite family, drive and pull in your cars, and let us all converge in New York to push this struggle one more step, one more level further. And in London, 2 days from today, on March 12th, every Amazonian in Europe, Spain, Italy, Germany, Belgium, if you can drive or fly to London, please make up your time. Plan to be in London on March the 12th at a rally to protest the abductions and detention incommunicado of our leaders in La République du Cameroon. Please, this is the least we can do, because we can never do as much as the people in Ground Zero are doing. We have to stand with them by going out for these rallies and making our voices heard so that the world can know what is going on in our country, Amazonia. Everybody in Europe, please, all routes on the, I think that is on the 12th. That will be, today is Friday, Saturday. So I think that is Monday, if I'm correct. The 12th, I guess, is Monday. The rally at Westminster Abbey in London is taking place 2 days from today. That is on the 12th, March 12th. Everybody in Europe, please make your way to those locations. And as you do that, our voices will be heard. Our cause will be heard. And we would have moved one more level to victory. Thank you so very much. Now, we have about a little over 800 people right now. Let me see those who have just joined. before I start the broadcast proper. I see Nick Lam Indum. He says, I am watching live from Batibo. I hope you are safe. Thank you for joining and thank you for letting us know that there are people still living in Batibo. There is Benche joining in from Germany. Juliana Obi from Pennsylvania. I also see John Asombang coming in from Los Angeles. Keep your location coming, please. And I also see Kenzo Mareso. Wow, these are, I guess, Facebook names. Coming in, it says from Amberland. There is Tim Kenjo, also from Amberland. And, of course, I also see Oljong Mirer says, I'm joining from Berlin. Thank you, thank you. Now I am going into the broadcast proper. Now, this is what I'm going to do. Before I get into the script, I want to specially congratulate the people of South Africa, Ambazonians in South Africa, for the wonderful protest rallies that they held at the Nigerian embassy in Pretoria. Those rallies ended today, but they did not end until the Nigerian ambassador came out and addressed them and promised to take their request to the Nigerian government. In fact, he signed an undertaking that he will take the request of Ambazonians in South Africa to their government in Nigeria, and he promised to come back to them with a response from the Nigerian government. Again, let all hearts go out to our brothers and our sisters in South Africa. They literally slept outside the Nigerian embassy for all these days until today, that they called it off after the Nigerian ambassador addressed them and assured them that their petition will get to Buhari. And so we want to really appreciate them. And let me also say that this should be emulated. This example set by South Africa should be emulated by every Ambazonian community in every place in the diaspora. If we all can show and demonstrate the tenacity of the Ambazonian South Africans by invading these embassies and high commissions and deciding not to leave until we hear from them, I bet you our message will go far. And the people who do not want to hear or listen to us will begin to listen to us. So whether you are in London, in France, in Germany, in Belgium, in New York, in Washington, D.C., in Toronto, in Ottawa, wherever that you are, every Cameroonian community should consider what South Africa just did. It brings results. Let us resolve to get out to every high commission, every embassy, to plead our case. And if possible, sleep there, pass the night there until we hear from them. So please, I want everybody out there to send some love to our brothers and sisters Ambazonians in South Africa for the feat they put out there at the Nigerian embassy in South Africa. Now I want to take you to the presentation proper. Again, I just forgot one more item before I do that. My trip to Boya donations website will be coming up, I believe it's either today or tomorrow, because people have been asking questions. What are we waiting for? We were waiting to get these platforms ready so that everybody can go on those platforms and make a donation. Those platforms for donations will be unveiled sometime today, or if not, that will be tomorrow. But you can rest assured that through the weekend, everything would have been put in place for the donations to flow. So please hold your peace on that. And next week I will be putting on a huge fundraiser for this struggle, coming to you live to do that. And I want you to prepare your $10. prepare your $100, your $500, your $200. Let us support this struggle to the logical end. Again, I will be doing a special fundraiser next week live coming to you. So please, begin to consider what you can give to support our trip to Boya. We have to get there, and that is why we are here. Thank you very much. I will now take you to the broadcast proper, and I also want to thank all the people and welcome all the people who are watching from ground zero. Thank you for the people in Kumba, in Boya, in Bamenda, everywhere that you are. From Lebialem, from Momo, from Bengui, from Batibo, from Kwakwa, from Kembong, from Ekok, everywhere that you are. Please, thanks for tuning in and for joining this evening. I hope that this will give you hope as we continue in this revolution. Thank you again for joining. Fellow Amazonians, coming to you today, I have no doubt that many of you watching and listening are very familiar with the immediate history of our revolution beginning in October of 2016. Many of you are obviously aware, too, that yours truly have disagreed on very many occasions with many people and some leaders who cringe to the idea of diplomacy as the only instrument that should deliver Boya into our hands from the colonial hegemony that is La République du Cameroon. They preach so much gospel of diplomacy, wanting us to believe that diplomacy and only diplomacy remains the mechanism through which our dream for the actualization of an independent Southern Cameroon would come to pass. In the contrary, ever before getting into the corridors of your interim government, yours truly was one of the loudest voices out there advocating for self-defense as priority tactic to reclaiming our freedom, suggesting that diplomacy should come only because it is a matter of necessity. But the argument summarily is that both have to be seen as working together. On October 1st, when we gathered in the counties and state capitals all over the southern Cameroons to celebrate the declaration of the restoration of our independence, yours again truly was the one who called out Amazonians in and around Boya, from Moyoka, Ekona, Muya, Tico, Mutengene, to converge in Boya to seize the governor's mansion and drive out the colonial governor. The same advocacy was made for the northern zone. And I truly believe then that if we had all poured out in a 1 million man march, like what happened in Tahrir Square in Egypt, when Egyptians in the same vein forced out Hosni Mubarak, that the colonial governors were going to be toppled and possibly forced to escape. Again and again, in the past, I have, in positions aside from the interim government, argued and maintained that diplomacy isn't and cannot be the only approach to take us to Boya. Not anytime soon if we want to rely on it. I have argued that we have no country in Africa to show that has obtained independence in this contemporary period on the conference table without having to fight. The cases of Eritrea and of course the Southern Sudan are still very fresh in mind. In write-ups upon write-ups, I have referred to our young men in ground zero, living in the fringes and bushes and putting their lives on the line to defend our people, our territory, and freedom as the bravest in this revolution, and they indeed remain the bravest. Those young men are our own very heroes of the revolution. And without them, without them, the soldiers of the occupational regime would have continued to rape our women, rape our mothers, and rape our sisters. Without the young heroes whom I call the defenders of Amazonia, genocide being perpetrated on us by a lot of Cameroon soldiers would be an understatement. Not only Americans should know how to honor their heroes, we Amazonians can never forget the young heroes whom the Cameroon soldiers have cut down in their prime, in the towns and villages around Manu, in the streets of Boya, in Kumba, in Bamenda, in Kwakwa, in Kumbo, in Ndu, in Nkambe, in Dop, in Guti, Mudemba, Ekona, Moyoka, Motengene, Bangam, Tiko, Batibo, amongst others. We shall never again forget the sacrifices of these young heroes, many of whom are still in the front lines. They are defending our territory in self-defense and making sure we actualize our independence. But pause for a second. Again, pause for a second. Did someone say I refer to these brave men as cowards, as insignificant, and rendering useless service to our country? Did someone say I describe them in derogatory and condescending terms? The people that question my unallowed respect and support for these young men and the work they are doing in self-defense are the commanders who have no strategy but want them to just go fight and die so that they can then come on social media and claim the credit and then walk over their corpse to raise money. That is what I call cowardice. Such are the ones I refer to as cowards. In my last outing to you here, I questioned the validity of a hit and run tactic that doesn't have any other strategy behind it or after it. By no means was I attributing the cowardly and dastard acts of mayhem by the terrorist forces of French Cameroon to our brave self-defense men who just want to protect their lives and fight to defend us, who just want to protect our territory because it belongs to them. No excuse whatsoever can be made on earth why a country's army will descend upon innocent people in towns and villages in another country, drive them out, burn down their homes, and kill some. The acts of genocide that are being perpetrated in our territory, Amazonia, the southern Cameroons, and now especially in Batibo, no matter what, cannot and will never be justified. And how interesting that the international community continue to sit and watch as an 86-year-old good for the grave Paul Biya of French Cameroon continues with utter impunity to decimate whole towns and villages in the southern Cameroons. The United Nations, the European Union, the Commonwealth, the African Union, the French, and the British government are all accomplices to the genocidal crimes being committed against the people of the southern Cameroon, just as they were responsible for the genocide that took place in the country of Rwanda. And that is why we, and when I mean we, I mean all of us Ambazonians, we make sure that the Republic of Cameroon pays, and pays very, very dearly. They can go on ahead and burn down more villages, kill more people, and send others running into the bushes and refugees camps. It isn't going to break or deter our resolve to defend our territory and actualize our independence. And here is where the interim government has come in with an urgent appeal for collaboration and coordination of self-defense action that take place on ground zero. The interim government is all for a surgical approach that will see minimal damage done to our communities and our people who are on the front lines. This question of coordinated self-defense is coming up again and again from people who think that the interim government ought to put its plan on the social platform and explain what it is doing, what it has done, and what it plans to do. This is exactly what I call cowardice. Cowardice is when you go out to war with your plan on the table for your enemy to see, and use the knowledge to preempt you. Cowardice is when you fail to plan, but carry out such propaganda and grandstanding that gives the enemy reason to decimate entire towns and entire villages. This interim government has said since the abduction of our leaders and subsequent transfer to Yaoundé that it can no longer compromise the rule of self-defense in this struggle, knowing the blind eyes that the international community has paid to the crisis. Our acting president has said self-defense is the way to go. And that's what the interim government is doing. But the interim government is also of the position that collateral damage and loss of life has to be minimized as much as possible. And what it takes to minimize the losses, which are mostly on us, is to build an effective and an enduring collaborated and coordinated strategy that exacts maximum pain on the enemy, while at the same time minimizing deaths and property losses on our people. And there is lots of wisdom in this, because the neighbor who witnessed the other neighbor's house burned down will only too soon give up courage and morale for the struggle, because he fears that if he doesn't, his own house may be the next to go down in flames. Self-defense, therefore, must, and I repeat, self-defense must, therefore, be carefully thought out so that that hit and run is not only what self-defense is all about. It should not be the end. It should be only part of the strategy. The point here is this: self-defense should not only mean or be limited to hit and run. That is, without strategy. We all know of what happens. When that happens, we know what becomes of the people in those localities. We also know exactly what becomes of the houses and other property in those communities. We are saying that if we must hit or hit and run, then a strategy must be in place that protects the lives and property of the people in the immediate community or communities, and not leave them at the mercy of French Cameroon terrorists. We are still very much in the early morning of this struggle. And if we think that hit and run is both a tactic and the overall strategy, none of us, especially in ground zero, may be left before we get to Boya. The Republic of Cameroon doesn't care how many villages they burned down and how many people they slaughter. Ours is a call for wisdom, not an indictment. Only our towns and villages are being raised, and the Republic of Cameroon isn't coming back to make compensation for a rebuild. Only our families are being sent running into bushes and refugee camps, not those of La République du Cameroon. Only our people are being roasted alive. Only our parents are losing their lifetime investments in their homes burned down, and of course property and labor, not La République du Cameroon. It is apparent that when I argue against hit and run as a tactic, people misunderstand and the surrogates want to go out and say that the interim government or that Chris Ano is criticizing the sacrifices of our young and brave Amber fighters. That is not true. That isn't the case. Don't those boys, those same fighters want to fight and leave? Don't they want to leave so that they too can witness that day of great reunion in Boya? Neither the interim government nor Chris Ano is against hit and run. Rather, we are against a poorly thought out tactic that doesn't get us occupying any territory. That in itself won't take us to Boya. That is the point. Only concise planning and real strategy will take us to Boya. You get into Batable, for example, or say Kwakwa, and you pick up 3 La République du Cameroon terrorists at a checkpoint. Run away with them or send them to hell. And you are very well aware that within 24 hours, the terrorists of La République du Cameroon will be coming in from behind to burn down the city. Are those 30 terrorists worth an entire town or an entire village and the lives of those they will kill on arrival? We have seen this drama repeat itself again and again in quarters in Kumba, in Batable at the moment, Kembong, Ekok, Akwaya, Bisongaban, Abokem, amongst others. In some of these cases, whole towns have been burned down. The people in their youths left camping for shelter in undesirable places. Many people who now live in refugee camps would love to return to their homes, but they cannot because they have no more homes. The home no longer exists. They have been wiped out or burned down. Who is going to rebuild the houses for them? Oh, will La République du Cameroon do? Certainly not. We have to do everything in this early stage of this struggle to minimize the amount of self-inflicted damage and pain on our people. If we do not do that and just keep on hitting and running, we will only too soon discover that morale and support for the revolution has waned. The leaders of all self-defense groups have a responsibility to come together as the interim government has scheduled to figure out a better way of defending our homeland, our territory, and our people. Hit and run is good when particular institutions in the urban area or cities are the target, and such bring real pain on La République du Cameroon. Hit and run is good if it is done in colonial territory. It leaves the colonial soldiers mesmerized, not knowing who did it. they get perplexed and defeated. If hit and run must be done as a strategy, why not also plan on how to defend the town and the people after action? Somebody has asked, please, Chris, if you were in Cameroon, in Kwakwa, and in many other places, what would you have done to deter the terrorist forces of La République du Cameroon? My answer is, let's take a lesson from the game of football. In football, you do not have an offensive strategy without a defensive one. You are destined to lose. Fellow Ambazonians, we are going to Boya, there is no doubt. But this requires collaboration from all self-defense groups. The barbaric regime of Paul Biya is on a killing and destruction spree on our territory against our people and their property. We need to protect them, and we need collaboration in action and in intelligence. No single group can achieve this on its own. Now, it is up to you, Ambazonians, to decide whether or not to continue to form a collaborative platform that will yield the desired results, or individual groups. This is the vision of your interim government. If you stand for a collaborative platform for self-defense, please get into the flight to Boya. Make your donation at ambergulf.org. We will live free or die. And that was my presentation. I would like to take a few questions if you have one. If you have a question, please put it on the screen, and I will be glad to take your question. Please, you got a question? I am waiting. I am looking for your question. Thank you for all the comments that I see. Let me see your question coming in, please. If there is none, I will assume that you all are satisfied with what you heard and you have no question. All right. I want to assume I have no question here. Again, before I go, I want to remind everybody in London, every Ambazonian in the UK, all routes on the 12th of March lead to Westminster Abbey for the protest rally against the abduction and the transfer of our leaders from Nigeria to Cameroon. Please check with your country heads, check out with your country heads to get the plan for the rally. Again, the rally is coming up in 2 days. That is March the 12th. And then in the United States, involving all of North America and Canada, please, the route leads to the United Nations headquarters on March 30th. Very soon there will be information out there, flyers out there to remind you. And before I leave, once more, love to our Ambazonians, wonderful Ambazonians in South Africa for the feat they put out at the Nigerian embassy, literally forcing the ambassador to come out and address them and promise to forward their grievances and bring a response to them from Nigeria. Good evening, everyone in Ground Zero. God bless you, and thanks for tuning in.